today we're going to sew in a zipper into your samples for an example, because we will be doing it for your makeup bag or toiletry bag, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so this is a what's called a lapped zipper. There's different types of zippers. There's zippers that you don't see the teeth, and those are called invisible zippers. So what you are going to do is you are going to first take the fabric and line it up with this little notch at the end of the zipper, okay? So I'm gonna unzip the zipper and I am going to line up the edge of the zipper with the edge of the fabric. In some cases, your zipper might be longer than your fabric. I'll show you how to deal with that when we come to it, okay? So, can everyone just have a seat for now? Y'all can finish getting ready. Y'all were, those that were late, just have a seat and pay attention, please. Thank you. Okay. So, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pin this lined up with the edge of my fabric with the edge of the zipper. When we're done, it will fold over and you'll just see the zipper, okay? And we are going to put on the zipper foot. So the zipper foot has two different sides. And what you do is you put this part of the foot on the specific side that you want to sew the zipper. So I'm gonna sew this zipper first, or this side of the zipper first. So I want to sew on the left. So I don't know if that makes sense. But what I'm going to do is I have this part of the zipper that I'm going to sew first. And so I want the needle to come through this hole to be on the right side, the foot to be on the right side of the zipper so it doesn't go over the zipper. Okay? So what I'm going to do is lower my presser foot. I'm going to line the zipper up with the right edge of the zipper foot, because that makes it to where I'm sewing as close to the zipper as I can, which is important because you don't want to see fabric when you're sewing your zipper, okay? So I'm gonna back stitch at the beginning, and then I'm gonna continue to go forward, sewing straight with my zipper, okay? And then I'm gonna back stitch, okay? And cut my threads. So once you press this, you'll see just your zipper. We also are gonna do a top stitch on this as well, because this is where we're actually gonna be using our top stitching the most. So I want you guys to practice top stitching with the zipper foot and with pressing. So you're gonna go and press this, or you can just finger press it. This is the only time where I'm gonna really just let you finger press, because if you press with the iron, it might mess up your zipper, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna sew basically again, but now I'm gonna line my zipper with the left part of this foot, like the further left part of the foot, which is in the back. So that way I can stitch right over this. Top stitching, you do not back stitch. So I didn't back stitch at the beginning, and I'm not gonna back stitch at the end. You don't back stitch on top stitching because it gives like a bulk that you don't want when you are top stitching. So there's my top stitch. Put this in the right place. So my zipper is now zipped up. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to line up my fabric with my other fabric underneath to make sure that it's lined up where I'm gonna pin it. I'm gonna pin it first on this other, just to the other edge. Then I'm gonna unzip, because you can't sew while it's zipped together. It's not gonna work properly. So I have this first side pinned in. Now I'm gonna pin the other side. You wanna make sure that you pin it flat, because if you accidentally, like if your squares are somehow different sizes, or if you don't pin it correctly or pin it flat, you could have a lopsided zipper, okay? So now I am going to move the zipper foot to the other side. So there's two little spaces where you can put this part onto the foot. And so now I'm going to use the right side. It'll go on, there we go. And I'm going to sew on the right side of the zipper, or the other side, other zipper. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top. You don't start here, because then you can't go all the way through, okay? So this is a little bit different than the zipper that we're gonna be doing for our toiletry bag, but this will allow us to at least learn how to use the zipper foot, okay? So I'm lining up the fabric with the edge of this foot and going straight down. Close to the edge as possible. You want to make sure that you keep the head of the zipper out of the way, because if you accidentally hit the head of the zipper with your needle is going to break 100%. So I lift that up. Okay, now I have that cut. But before I do my top stitching, I'm gonna zip it together to see if it's even. So it is even at the top, but it's not at the bottom. So it's very high possibility that my squares weren't the same size. Okay, because it's nice and flat here. If there was a bubble here, then I would say that it's different. Okay, then I did something wrong. But there's like a little snip here that goes this direction. So I'm gonna assume that because if that was to go straight, it would be the same length. Okay, so I'm not gonna worry about it. So just make sure that this is nice and flat and smooth. We'll worry about it being completely even at the bottom later, but I want you to make sure that it's completely even at the top, okay? Because that's the most important, it being even at the top of the zipper, okay? So your fabric needs to be completely even at the top of your zipper, and then you're gonna top stitch and you will leave your zipper just as it is. I need to do it this way. So now that I am done, I need to unzip this again, and then I'm gonna top stitch my zipper down. Again, this is gonna be a little different than the way you would do a zipper for our makeup bag. Our makeup bag zipper is gonna go all the way down the zipper, but our zippers are a little big, so we're not gonna really worry about it. We're just gonna sew in the zipper for now. Y'all practicing doing that, okay? Because that's the most important, is getting used to the foot and making sure that you sew as close to the zipper as possible. Okay, so make sure all your threads are cut. You aren't gonna cut the zipper. You're gonna leave the zipper as is, unless your zippers just so happens to be like 2 inches longer than your fabric, then we'll talk about that. But if it's not, they should all be either the same length or shorter. If they're shorter, you'll cut off the excess fabric. If they're not, like this one, you'll just leave it like this, okay? I'm not gonna worry about it being the same. We're just gonna sew it together, okay? So you're gonna pinking shear the edges, and this will be your zipper. Any questions?